So we just are switching to the evidence-based medicine, which usually should be combined with experience-based medicine. Recently, we published this overview about all the available studies regarding the immunomodulating activity of biological active polysaccharides in the recurrent respiratory tract infections. And this is another interesting new review by our colleagues from Netherlands, that also in this you can see very interesting movement or switch from traditional medicine to the classical evidence-based medicine, which is also well valid for beta-glucans. So let's speak at the beginning about a few words about the open label studies. We started currently Immunoglukan celebrates this year 20 years of existence. And like 15 years ago, there was a first open label study in Slovak and Czech Republic. At this time, we were already separated, but basically we are still collaborating. This open label study was followed by the study in Spain, later on in Poland. Then we moved to the former Yugoslavia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, and the last one was the clinical trial from Turkey. Altogether, we have approximately 1,247 children involved in this. These are the most important results from the Czech and Slovak open label study. What we saw, and the clinical design of this study, I will show you later on, was very similar in all these states and all these countries. In the majority of the children, we saw the more than 50% of reduction of respiratory morbidity, comparing 2 years and 2 seasons one by one. These are the other open label studies from all these countries, and the application was very similar. So there was inclusion criteria that children has to fulfill the definition of recurrent respiratory tract infections. There was exclusion of all the severe primary immunodeficiencies, and children were supplemented 3 months with product, and then there was a 3 months of follow-up, and then we compared the same period with the previous year. In this sub-analysis, there was 1,030 children. So as you see, there was significant decrease in the frequency of recurrent respiratory tract infections. When we have a look on the detailed type of the infections like pneumonias, bronchitis, laryngitis, and so on, for all these subtypes of infections, we saw very significantly and dramatic decrease. There were comparable results between small children and older children, which were divided according to the age of 4 years. The duration of the recurrent respiratory tract infections, of course, there was approximately 47% of reduction of the duration across the study period, and this was valid for all the subtypes of the respiratory infections. So the basic summaries, in general, in all the countries which were analyzed and studied, we confirmed the decreased number of respiratory tract infections in general, but also particular forms, without any severe side effects, and excellent safety profile, without any warning signs for some immune overstimulation and so on. There was also decrease of emergency visits. Quite interesting were the data about the evaluation of the efficacy by the parents and by the physician. Usually there is a conflict because in certain therapeutic approaches we are not very in agreement with the parents, but there was very high agreement between the evaluation of the efficacy. And what is interesting, we showed consistent result across different geographical areas with different genetic background, different population structures. This is another part of the story of immunoglukan. This was a double-blind placebo-controlled trial with 247 children in Czech and Slovak Republic. What is interesting, as a placebo, we used vitamin C, just to discriminate, because you know that in Defendyl there is also contain of the vitamin C and zinc. So therefore, we, as a placebo, active placebo, we used the other components just to prove that true clinical effects can be attributed especially to the molecule of immunoglukan. And these are the most interesting results: decrease of respiratory infections, flu and flu-like diseases, decrease of lower airway infectious, increased number of children without any infections during the study than observed period, and of course excellent safety profile. In this trial we also evaluated some immunoparameters, and as you see, the immunoglucan are the blue lines, significantly improve and modulate the production of immunoglobulins in natural physiological way, so without any overstimulation of the immune system.